Create attraction. Nature is infinitely creative. It is always producing the possibility of new beginnings. Marianne Williamson. Attraction starts with a spark. You meet a woman, and if she likes you and you seduce her the right way, sex is all but guaranteed to happen. Only society has drilled it into our heads that women don't want sex. Women are pure creatures, corrupted by man's lust. This has a habit of making a man feel guilty for even talking to a woman. Women are, however, biologically programmed to want men to show interest in them. That being said, before you think about approaching and meeting women, it's important to consider the role that logistics plays in the seduction process. If your objective is to go out into the world and meet beautiful women, location is key. And just as a man who lives in a desert can't be a fisherman, a man who lives in isolation will find it difficult to meet, date, and seduce women. If you're currently struggling to meet quality women, it might be time to consider the importance of location in your life. Simple logic dictates that men who live in New York City have more dating options than men who live in Lost Springs, Wyoming, population 5. In the same way, men who teach English in Europe, Asia, or South America have more opportunities to meet, date, and have sex with women than men who work in a bank in a big metropolitan city. Meeting and dating women is not a question of resources, money, or prestige. It's simply a matter of access. Men often believe that after college, their glory days are over as they find themselves falling into careers and lifestyles that severely limit their dating options. Yes, you might have a well-paid insurance job working 40 hours a week, but your chance to meet, attract, and date beautiful women is going to be restricted by your lifestyle. Why do bartenders, tour guides, overseas English teachers, and personal trainers get to meet, date, and have sex with so many beautiful women? The answer is access. As you listen to this, there are literally millions of women out there in the world who would be willing to date you and have an intimate relationship with you. This is no exaggeration. The only thing that prevents you from meeting these women is access. You can't date someone if you can't meet them. This is where the power of the direct approach and, to a lesser degree, online dating comes in. The ability to meet women is a crucial factor when it comes to dating success. But not all locations offer the same opportunities. Take bars and clubs, for example. If you walk into any club or bar and expect to meet beautiful women, you won't be disappointed. You must be aware, however, that women enter clubs and bars with a certain mindset. That mindset is to have fun with their friends and try to attract as much attention from men as possible. To make matters worse, you not only have to compete with other men for a woman's attention, you also have to capture a woman's interest in a noisy, crowded environment. Nightclubs and bars are two of the worst places to meet and seduce women. Even if you exchange phone numbers, there's a good chance the woman will still flake on you. After all, the two of you just shared a fun drunken encounter, and that's all it was. Somewhat counterintuitively, some of the best opportunities to meet women can be had during the day when a woman's guard is down. You don't have to compete for her attention, and she doesn't have to worry about what her friends think as she tries to have a conversation with you over blaring music. Case study number 3, location is key. Andrew lived with his parents in a small, quiet town in Florida. The town where Andrew lived was mostly full of retirees, and there was almost no way for Andrew to meet women unless he drove to one of the big cities nearby. Frustrated with his current living arrangement, Andrew decided it was time to move back to LA, where he went to college, or end up dying of sexual frustration. A couple of months later, Andrew landed in LA, and as soon as he arrived, he felt a sense of relief tinged with excitement. Everywhere he looked, he saw beautiful women. It wasn't long, however, before Andrew realized that being surrounded by beautiful women wasn't going to improve his love life unless he could find a way to meet these women and talk to them. After 3 months in LA, Andrew still hadn't met a girl he liked. If anything, he was feeling even more frustrated than before. The city wasn't the problem. He was surrounded by beautiful women every day. So, what exactly was going wrong for Andrew? In short, Andrew needed to learn one crucial skill: how to seduce women. Andrew was driving around LA expecting women to just fall into his lap, and that was never going to happen. Somehow, Andrew had to make his presence known. If he was going to have any success, Andrew would not only have to seek out and find attractive women, he would have to learn how to approach them and engage them in conversation. Assuming you live in a town or city with a relatively large female population, you'll be able to meet women in the most unexpected locations. These locations include coffee shops, elevators, restaurants, concerts, supermarkets, the gym, parks, shops, malls, and just about any place that human beings congregate. Meeting women isn't difficult. Meeting the right kind of women, however, requires more thought and attention. Yes, thousands of beautiful women can be found in bars and clubs, but as previously stated, bars and clubs aren't the most conducive environments for seduction. Instead, you must ask yourself what type of woman you want to meet. It stands to reason, if you want to meet beautiful, healthy women, you'll have a greater chance of success finding such a woman in the gym or a place where health-related activities take place. Interestingly enough, research has found that women who exercise or have just finished exercising are much more likely to find a man attractive due to increased physiological arousal. Studies into exercise and attraction show that people are more likely to attribute an elevated heartbeat and feelings of arousal to the presence of a stranger as opposed to the actual source of their arousal, the exercise itself. A similar well-known study was carried out on men over the Capilano River in North Vancouver, Canada. The researchers in the study had women approach men as they walked across a high-suspension bridge. Afterwards, it was found that the men were more likely to find the women attractive when they were in a state of heightened physiological arousal. In other words, the men confused fear, anxiety, and arousal for attraction. In the same way, if a woman's feeling fearful, anxious, or aroused, she's more likely to be receptive to a man's advances, even if her arousal is triggered by something other than the man's presence. The chaotic nature of life means you can only control so many variables at once. The opportunity to meet attractive women, however, is a variable that is largely out of your control. That's why it's so important to seize every opportunity you can to meet and interact with women whenever you get the chance. The man who pursues beautiful women ends up meeting and dating beautiful women. The man who settles for mediocrity ends up meeting and dating mediocre women. The choice ultimately lies with you. When it comes to meeting women who are worth pursuing, there are only 2 rules to keep in mind. First, it's easier to meet and seduce attractive women during the day. And second, you must be prepared to meet beautiful women in the most unexpected places without warning and without notice. This means you must be willing to act without hesitation or regret letting another opportunity pass you by.